buddy. Oh, you don't have your mic on yet. Okay, so today we're so enthused to be talking to you.
What?
Are you awake?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, everyone?
Hello.
What's up, everyone? Today we're going to do another podcast. We're going to do some Q&A on some questions that Ari created that I don't know the topic or the questions. So let's get into it.
So just to preface, a lot of it is around the same topic. It's just different questions within that topic. Okay. So the topic I chose today, which I just thought would be interesting to get your take on, is body image.
Okay.
The first question that I have is, do you think body image varies based on gender? Do you think the stereotype for body image of men is different from body image of women and what the social expectations are?
I'm a personal trainer, so I deal with a lot of intake on potential clients, asking them what their goals are on their body composition, and women for the most part want to tone up, look stronger but not bigger, usually in their arms.
Do you think you could sit back a little bit? I feel like you look a little intense, just cash.
So like I said, I'm a personal trainer, so I see a lot of different people with a lot of different bodies and wanting a lot of different individual ones, but overall it's how people view their bodies is usually based on a lot of people compare to models or public figures, and women usually want to tone up. Their verbiage is usually like toning up but not getting bigger in their arms and legs and glutes, and then men are usually, they want a bigger, wider chest, they want bigger arms, or they want a smaller waist and losing body fat. I think men and women look different, so they have different views on body, but overall, I think from comparing men to men and women to women, they aren't that drastically different on how they want their bodies to look.
Yeah, I kind of agree there, I think. I mean, you're talking from experience, from hands-on with people, and I'm not hands-on with people like that every day, so I understand the feedback that you get. From more of an outside view, there are a lot of people that in general that post about body image and what they want to see. I feel like women, they like muscles, but they really don't necessarily look for that in the opposite gender all the time. There's a thing nowadays called the dad bod. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
That's kind of
it's
attractive.
Muscular but soft.
Yeah, it's a nice happy medium,
Yeah.
because I think girls are intimidated by guys that are super muscular. So they want that, and it's great to have it. But from a realistic standpoint of what at least I feel like women look for is more of somebody that can show both sides, somebody that can chow down and be soft, and then someone who can also show athleticism and masculinity.
Yeah, I've heard women say that they don't want a ripped bodybuilder man because the woman themselves isn't ripped.
Uh-huh.
And so why would they expect that of the man? That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if you're going to touch this, but I don't know if this is going to be one of the questions, but I think one of the biggest, I was talking with one of my clients this morning actually about it, on how obesity is such a problem, especially in America. And body shaming is one thing, but promoting obesity and making it sound like it's okay to have poor eating habits and sort of actually influencing that by canceling or talking down people that are against, gaining fat and not working out and saying that it's okay. I don't think you truly love someone if you're trying to support that, even though it's a hard task to do of getting someone to change their habits, because they're not going to do it unless they want. But enabling someone on an unhealthy path, in my opinion, isn't true love. You're enabling them killing themselves slowly.
You always take a nice big breath through your nostrils when you say something that's
Controversial.
Kind of out of pocket. You're just da-da-da. Nice. All right, next question. How do factors like climate, lifestyle, and diet influence body image perceptions? But I think depending on your lifestyle, climate, and where you are, what's around you, kind of influences what you look for in a body image. You know, we grew up in very different places. I feel like I have a very different perception of body image than maybe you did based upon where you lived in Maryland.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to move down here was I love fitness and health, and a place like Florida where it's nice out most of the year. People are a lot more active outside, a lot more. The older people down here look like they are so much younger than they do up north. And like the standard is sort of a lot of gyms, a lot of healthy eating places, and a lot more fit people. And it's definitely sort of the opposite up north in Maryland. It's just who you surround yourself with and what they like to do. A lot of people down here don't drink as much, they don't eat as much crappy food. I also work in the gym, so I'm sort of biased. I'm around fit people that care about their health more, but on the overall scheme of people that I've seen, there's definitely a lot more fit people down here than up north. And I think places like Palm Beach and Miami are different than like the suburbs and country in Maryland. People down here are like trying to get after it, make their loot. And so they have that mindset of, you know, trying to get better, improve themselves financially, physically, mentally. And everyone, for the most part, in this area in Florida is not from here. They're from different parts of the US, and they just wanted more for their life and they moved to this area. So you're surrounded by go-getters, you're gonna be a go-getter. Surrounded by comfort and chill out, go get the fast food and a six-pack, you're gonna be another fat one too. Like doing those little trigger words in there. See me in the comments.
I'll see you there. All right, I feel the same way. I think when I was in high school, I grew up in a very proper area where people kind of were the same as here in West Palm Beach from what he was saying. And in high school, I do remember being very conscious about my body and my body image, and age plays a huge part of it, but I do remember being very conscious about that all the time. And then when I went out to Maryland, I just felt like people were so much more relaxed in general, and that's why I chose to go to school out there, because I just felt like it was more of who I am and surrounded by more people like me, not so materialistic. Not that body image is necessarily materialistic, but I kind of lost my train of thought. I just feel like in general, people they invest more into their body and their minds here, and similar to California, and in Maryland, it just didn't feel that way. You could find pockets of places where you could meet people very much like that if that was the direction you wanted to go, but I didn't feel that in Maryland nearly as much as I did in California or here, where you're surrounded by it constantly.
Or the weather's sort of similar in California and here.
Yeah.
It's nice more times out of the year than not.
Yeah.
More opportunity to have to wear a cutoff or a sports bra. More you want to look better in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Up in Maryland, you don't want your body showing? Fine, just throw on a long pair of jeans and a flannel.
Were you ever affected by body image? Like, were you someone that was very, like, body image conscious growing up? Or was it something that you didn't really think about until later on in life?
I didn't really think about it until high school when I got around other people.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't really understand nutrition and exercise, so I just thought, like, it was mostly genetics. I was just born with big bones,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna be fat.
Husky.
Yeah, and then once I started understanding nutrition, like, oh yeah, like, I'm this fat because of the habits that I have and continually have overeaten and underexercised. And yeah, once I realized that, then it sort of changed.
That makes sense.
She wants the camera.
She loves the camera. She loves being the center of attention.
So cute.
All right. Last question. Do you think men care as much about their body image as women do? Why or why not? I feel like it's not really talked about amongst men, heavily talked about in the female population, but I do think it's there.
I just think from a historical sense, in my opinion, that you can be out of shape, fat, not good habits as a man and have money and still be able to have attractive women in your life. And I don't know if that works the same way for women. I've just talked to so many people that are guys like in their 50s and they're just like, I'm 50 years old, like I don't care about my body, I just want to be able to move. It's more of a functionality standpoint and trying to reduce pain or eliminate pain over cosmetics. Women in the same age bracket are still very much chasing like a certain look in their body and like almost don't care about functionality as much. They're willing to spam on the treadmill hours every day and really deprive themselves of nutrients to try and drop body fat. And out of a lot of the clients that I've worked with, men are not willing to make those same disciplined decisions as women are, especially as they age.
So do you think that more of the younger population, I guess you touched on like older males, like what about the younger generations of people that are still developing and building? Do you think they care as much about body image as women do?
Yeah, I think all of the younger kids do. Why else would all these boys have the same haircut? Why would they wear the same stuff? Like, it's really cringe. I don't understand it. Like, I understand in the sense of like, you want to fit in, you don't want to like, you want to fit in, you don't want to get made fun of for being the odd one out, but like, dude, just be yourself. Like, if you don't know who yourself is, then look up to people, not the people that are on the same level as you. The surge in steroids that I have like heard on firsthand experiences from kids that are like in high school trying to like chase this bodybuilder physique. Bodybuilding sort of blown up from social media. I've never seen so many dudes flexing in the bathroom mirror in the past like year or two than I have my whole life. When I was in high school, it was like take the second oldest shirt that you have in your closet and just cut it up as close as you can to a tank top and go to the gym. It wasn't that serious. And now you got the Alphalete and the Gymshark one-piece sweatsuit zipped up. You got the dangly cross earrings and then the little like faloof on your hair. Cringe. Women struggle with it too. I think that when I was in high school as well, women was like, it was, you know, short basketball shorts and then an oversized tee, and now it's like...
I rocked that till 2021.
To each his own, for sure, to each his own. I can have my opinion, but like honestly, I don't care that much. I just think that body image has definitely come on the people's front of mind a lot more, especially since social media is like... These people that look good also are getting brand deals, also are making a lot of money online. If they're not funny, the funny ones are a niche, but for the most part, like the people that look good, have abs, have the wide frame for men, and then like have this skinny, like fit look for women, like they're the ones that are making money and getting brand deals. So as a kid looking at that, why would you not try and chase that body when you're equating it to looking good, picking up the opposite sex that you're attracted to, or same sex, and then making money on it as well? Like it's easy to understand why you would make body image such a big focus in your life when it's these people look good and they have all this. So if I look good, then that will all come. Talking to a lot of bodybuilders, it's not how it works. You have to have more of a charismatic influence than just how you look. There's a lot of people that look good that don't have a lot of followers and don't make a lot of money.
It makes sense, like wanting to see that, and if you can look like that, you can be like that. There's got to be like two buckets of people. The people that start because they see other people that are successful looking that way, and then there's also a population of people that do it just to be healthier and do it for themselves. Do you think it's more detrimental to start on the side of, I want to be this way because I see other people looking this way who are successful? Do you think that's a faster way to get to that point? Or do you think take less amount of time to get there, healthier, looking good, getting the body that you want from a more self-disciplined standpoint?
From personal experience, I think you go a lot quicker when you're comparing yourself to other people that look good, because if you're comparing yourself to how you are right now and where you want yourself to be, like you can't even really imagine it because you're just living in the present. Like you can't see your future self. But you can envision your future self as someone that you respect. When I was getting into the fitness industry and I'm looking at Chris Bumstead, I'm looking at Mike Thurston, I'm looking at Jay Cutler, these bodybuilders, I didn't have an understanding that they were on steroids. I didn't have an understanding of what their diets and stuff look like, but like learning more, like I'm like, I want to look like that, so I'm going to listen to what they say and try that. And then eventually you get to this point where you've done everything that they've done to an extent without like doing steroids. And you're like, okay, I'm at this point now, where do I go from here that optimizes my body to get it where like maybe I don't want to look like a freaking huge roided bodybuilder, but I'm happy with the muscle that I put on by chasing what these people inspired me to do. And now I can be like, I actually want to be a little bit more functional. I want to be able to run, and that's okay if I lose muscle. I want to be able to stretch and not have pain. It's okay if I don't lift 6 days a week. I want to get into sports and try different activities than just the gym. I don't want to live around my kitchen. But I think getting that spark, it's always easier to look at someone and be inspired. In this book called Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was born in Austria, and the only reason that he came over here was seeing one magazine about bodybuilding, seeing the sands and beaches of California and Venice, and it brought him all the way over here. And he had this vision of like wanting to be an actor, wanting to be a Conan, wanting to be a Terminator, like wanting to be a star movie person, and that came after wanting to be a top bodybuilder. And you learn that from getting inspired by people that are on the path in a place that you want to be. I think that's always a quicker way to get inspired. It's hard to like look at yourself in the mirror and you're 2 months or a year in and you're like, I'm just not where I want to be. But it's way easier to look at someone that's been doing that for a longer period of time and be like, well, they just kept their head down and kept doing the things that I'm doing that got them there. And so I know that if I just keep doing what they did, I'll get a lot further than I would just comparing myself to the person I was yesterday.
I feel like that social media can actually, like this next generation of kids turning into adults, there's so much more access to information and information that you actually want to absorb by chasing somebody, as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, because there are people out there that just look at content that's not really useful. It's just images and no wisdom, no guidance or perspective. And I think that's blind chasing, which I think can be detrimental. And I think there's still a large population of girls that struggle with content out there that's not useful and just kind of deteriorates your self-confidence. But I see your point, and I agree with it.
There's people in lab coats that are getting paid a lot of money to create the news feeds that you're seeing on social media. And so my only advice would be like be intentional when you're going on these apps of like what you're trying to get out of it, because it's very easy to open up like a TikTok that is immediately playing videos and then scrolling, and you'll spend an hour or so on it and then like can't look back and recall what you even saw. Like same with YouTube. If you're going on there and you're just looking at the recommended and it's showing you like cops and food and like a little sprinkle of like, you know, exercise splits and stuff that you actually want to learn, go on there with the intention. It's easy to get washed away into like the algorithm, but if you go into these apps with like an intention of like, I want to learn this right now and then get off of it, I think that's beneficial. But we're in the age where there's so much information, there's so much access to food, there's so much access to everything that it's about being disciplined and saying no, choosing what enters your mind and what enters your body, instead of allowing lab coats and an algorithm to determine what you're going to be intaking that day.
I mean, I personally cleaned out my Instagram when I started my kind of blogging page. I decided that anyone I followed was purely going to be someone that was either giving me information or giving positivity, so in the direction of where I wanted to go, because they call it like mindless scrolling. Mindless scrolling is the definition of our generation and most of how humans use social media right now. So if you're someone that's trying to weed off of that, sometimes cold turkey isn't the best way to do it, because you're just going to find yourself back on it. But start just filling the mindless scrolling with information that you think is interesting and informational, so you can start to train your brain out of it. And then you'll kind of get to the point, or at least where I'm at, where I'm on my phone and I'll be scrolling for a while, and I feel like I've like gotten so much information that I'm just like tired of it, and then I'll just put my phone down. Whereas if I'm on my other Instagram account where my feed is just memes and jokes and mindless, pointless things, I could be on that for hours. It's really just depending on which page I'm on.
Yeah.
So
I think apps like Opal or even like OPAL, or just even if you have an iPhone, like limiting the time that you have on apps so that like 5 minutes goes by and it's like it kicks you off the app, and you can have sort of this realization of like, oh, I just spent this much time on the app. If I'm gonna unlock the app again, make sure it's for a reason, that it's beneficial. I have the kids that are like in their late teens or early 20s that work at the front desk of my gym. I've gotten 2 of them to delete TikTok and Instagram off their phones, challenge other ones to put time restrictions on it. If you delete TikTok and Instagram and have withdrawal, you'll understand that there is literally scientists creating this stuff that get you addicted to it. They are using your brain and how it's wired to keep you on the app. If you listen to like All Quiet on Set, the new documentary about Nickelodeon, like
He loves talking about this one.
one of the things that the Dan Schneider said on it was like, my job is to keep ages 8 to 14-year-old kids glued to the TV. That is what these people are doing even today. They want you on the screen. They want you scrolling. They want ad revenue. They want you to purchase stuff that's in the app and market to you. If it is free, you are the product. If something is free, you are the product. And you're being taken advantage of, and it's wasting your time. Like the average person, I think it's like 7 years that they spend on social media.
Gross.
Over the course of their life. Like obviously it hasn't been that social media hasn't been out that long where they can actually scale that, but they're just doing a projection based on how long it is and how much time people are spending on it. But it's literally a freaking cancer. It's killing your brain cells, it's killing your attention span, and the best things to learn probably aren't going to be on social media where you learn them in depth. You should be able to teach someone something if you really understand it, not be able to just show them a 5-second video.
Yeah. So body image.
How do you view your body?
I view it as, well, I guess now I view it as more of a sacred place. I feel like I can look back on all the years where I didn't treat my body well, and I feel bad. I feel a little guilty because I've seen what it's taken me through and where it can take me. And I feel like I've beaten on it a lot over the years. So I feel like I view my body now a lot different than I used to when I was, even in college. I didn't really care, you know, with the amount of things I consumed in college, alcohol, just all of it. I didn't really care. I just kind of figured my body would bounce back like it always has. When I left college and went into the workforce and everything kind of fell off, like my routine, I didn't have the same tight toned body that I had in college. That's when I really felt like I got a slap in the face of a little bit of humility, and because I wanted that. I wanted to feel and look how I did in college, more like the energy, the overall physique of my body. I just felt better. So I think I view my body now as more of a beautiful thing and not just something that I have to deal with, which is a big step for me, because for a while when I was heavier and not as healthy, habits had been established, I felt like I wasn't treating it right because I didn't really care. I didn't see what it was doing for me. I almost felt like my body was holding me back in a lot of ways, like confidence, health, energy, ambition, just overall work ethic. So I view it as a part of me now. I know that sounds weird, but for a while it just felt like two different things. My mind and my body felt like they were completely separate, and now they kind of work as a team, and that's how I view it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to today's discussion. I hope you took something away from it, hopefully positive. Look forward to having you back next time. I'm EJ.
I'm Ari. Good job.